Welcome to the Uncivil Mentality Podcast. I'm Erik Vidal.
And I'm Reilly Kilbride.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh shit, you're going right into this motherfucker. All right.
This morning, today being September 11th, right? I did the 110 stairs.
Absolutely.
110 stair climb. 110 floors this morning. Got my ass kicked, bro. That's why I'm just like real mellow. Real
Okay, I was
chill.
gonna ask you, man.
Even
You
my
gotta seem
voice.
like,
Even
yeah,
my voice sounds different.
yeah. Everything good, man? Was it emotional for you?
No, I was just trying to get the work done and in preparation for Florida. And so I have to be in gear on air and I have to complete the stair climb. I have to complete the climb. And I didn't complete it in full gear.
Mm,
I didn't. So there's that.
mm.
I'm beating myself up for it and I'm not where I want to be at and I need to get better. And so I'm just like real mellow,
Yeah. Well,
you know? Like,
more of
fuck.
my training days lately have been some of that. Like, I thought that I was capable of this, and this is where I'm at today. And
Mhm.
just, I think that we talk about it, but when it's us, it's so hard for us to, think that way of like consistency across time is progress. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It's hard to fire on all cylinders all the time. Like it's just not
I'm
possible.
just, I'm just, it is what it is. I didn't eat this morning. It's
Mm,
totally understandable. May have not been hydrated to potentially to the fullest. I didn't do I didn't take care of my body. So,
mm.
uh, been training hard these past couple of days. And so, I mean, no excuses, right? I'm just saying, fuck, I'm not where I want to be at. And I
But you
need
know
to,
how to get where you want to go, brother.
yeah, I just need time and gear, time under duress and just time and attention. So,
Yesterday I did a workout in like my actual structure gear because I was washing my carne stuff and it felt like a damn bathing suit. Like
oof,
it
yeah,
felt so much better than the carne gear that I wear. So I felt
I, I
like I
believe it.
was out of breath, like I was tired, but I wasn't hot. I
Sure.
feel like
I was burning up. Like,
yeah.
okay, I got a couple I got a couple more flights and I'm gonna take off this fucking pack. I got a couple more flights and I'm gonna take off this helmet
Mhm.
and then slowly but surely start stripping away and I was like, fuck me,
Yeah.
Like
We did one in Charleston over the summer and that kicked my ass. It's tough. Full gear, full gear.
yeah,
That stair climb's
yeah.
intense.
And then you put yourself in that situation, I'm doing this for my own benefit because I'm alive, I'm willing and able to do it, and then you parallel the what happened on 9/11, and then you're like, man, how could that have been, how could that have even been possible? You know?
Yep.
And so there's this quote that I really resonate with. It says, "He felt in his heart cruelty and cowardice, the things which made him brave and kind." T.H. White, the once and future king.
Mm.
And that, my man, I can't really explain how in your last moments how would how would you handle, are you gonna be a coward
Mm.
or are you gonna be brave in the face of like, actual danger
Well,
and
Megan and
life?
I was talking this morning. Like when you look, there had to be a decision in their brains of looking at that tower and being like, "This is it. This is it. I'm not coming back from this." There
Yeah.
had to be a certain choice that they had to make, and I admiration, bravery isn't a way. It's way more than that. Like the decisions that they made that day were beyond what I think we can define character trait wise. So
Mhm.
it's uh it's hard to describe, and I just I don't want that to be overlooked like that day. So yeah. What Here's the first question
Let's
for
go.
you guys that don't know. This is the Erik interview. So we get down to business with some good questions. Where were you or when did you hear about 9/11? I feel like that's a great opening question.
So it's one of those things that you never forget where you were at and what you were doing at the time. I had recently graduated high school. I was working in a TV production studio. So I was working in a studio. We were recording a TV show and we just happened to be in intermission and the news was on and we see the Trade Center that a plane had just hit it. So one of the towers was, there was smoke showing, there was flames or whatnot, because a plane hit it. And then we were like, oh, that's kind of odd. But here's the thing. One of the old guys, one of the old timers that was there, he said, oh, that's an act of terrorism. And I was like, shut up, old man. You know what you're talking about. Being young and naive. Bro, moments later, it was just after 9 o'clock in the morning, the second plane hits. So we saw it live in real
Mm,
time. And, and bro, the old man says, we're going to war.
mm.
Yeah.
So
So there's that. So the two planes hit the trade centers, unbeknownst to us. There was another plane heading towards, that hit the Pentagon. There was another plane heading towards the White House, and that was brought down. So, I mean, we were under attack. Yeah.
did you feel when you saw that, was there an instant, part of you that said, let's fucking go? Or were you unsure? Or like, did you want to go to the recruiter's door and kick it in? Like, what was your thought process?
No, reflecting back, I don't think I had any of those thoughts. It was surreal to see what was happening, and I didn't, was I patriotic at that moment in time? Probably not,
Hmm.
you know. Uh, my thoughts were, is a blur. I didn't join the service, I didn't join the army till years later,
Mm,
till after Hurricane Katrina. This was 2005, August
okay,
2005. And then I left for the army in February 2006.
okay.
So so this happened in 2001. I didn't join the service till like years later because I didn't want to live my life living with regret, right? I didn't want to, me personally, I'm speaking for myself. I
Mm,
didn't want to look back and say to myself, "Oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that." When you had every right and the power and the ability to choose, you know, what you wanted to do. So me personally, I chose to serve because I was just getting older. I wasn't getting any younger.
mm.
And that's the route I chose, and that's what I did. I'm better for it. I'm a better man for it. I would have never achieved what I have achieved if it wasn't for the army. I would have never known what I've been capable of if I wasn't challenged or I wasn't presented with the adversity and the hardships that I went through in the service.
Mm.
And I got to fly fucking helicopters, dude. I got to fly helos.
Gotta do some cool
I was a
shit.
medic. Yeah. I'm not boasting. I've saved lives, and and when I'm older, I'll look back at my time like I made, knowing that I made a difference. And I've carried with me that same mindset and that same perspective and attitude and curiosity and eagerness to the fire service.
Mm.
That's that same work ethic. Uh, yeah.
What were some of the final like deciding factors that made you sign that dotted line to go to the army? Like, what was it? What were the final like? What was like? Okay, this is the right idea.
I could speak selfishly and say that I needed some type of higher education because where I was at currently in life, I didn't have the means. I couldn't afford it. I didn't know how to. I needed guidance, and I figured if I joined the army and I became a medic, then I'll have a piece of paper saying, I've done some type of schooling. I have these skills, and I'll be an asset. Apart from, you know, there were killing and we were overseas and service members were dying and my cousins, one of them was in the US Army Reserve, the other one was active duty at the time, and then another one was a Marine. So I felt compelled to serve and show up and assist whichever way I can. And looking back, I thought that being a medic was a way to do that. Also, if I was to get hurt, I could patch myself up, bandage myself up, see how, knowing that I had the skills to do so and the knowledge to do so. At the time, they were beheading Americans. So I don't know if you remember this website called strangeland.com,
Mm-mm.
strangeland.com or rotten.com,
I
like
remember
rot.
Rotten.
Brown.com. They had some gruesome stuff on that website. And I remember an American being beheaded, watching it on the internet. No censorship. I was like, well, we got to do something about this shit
Mm-hmm.
because we cannot let them come over here. So I figured if we go over there, keep it on their territory, that would prevent them from coming over here. And just a lot of different factors, man. I was going nowhere fast in life, and I did it for selfish reasons, but then I felt compelled to answer a higher calling.
Tell me about your first couple years, maybe in the army, maybe going through basic. What do you still have friends from those times? Do you still keep up with any of those guys, or do you have any old, military friends that you still keep in contact with?
Yeah, mostly through Facebook.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fine.
And on our timelines, old pictures would show up when I was a young man,
Hmm.
and just thinking back at the
When you see
memories
those
and
old pictures, what do you feel? Does it take you back, or do you look at it with love or fear or?
yeah, with pride.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that kid, so naive. The whole
But
world ahead of him.
but yet
Just
brave, like but very forward thinking at that
well,
time. Obviously, you were young,
it's
but
like not knowing what you're about to get into and just being oblivious to like the harsh and the reality of war. I had no clue, man. So I could tell you this: the first day I was in basic training, I I'm from Miami, Florida. We were flown up to Fort Leonard, Missouri. The first time in my bunk, in the bunk bed, looking up at the ceiling, I was like, oh man, here we go.
yeah.
This is it, bro. What the fuck did you just do?
Mm.
Like I remember talking to myself, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be just fine. You
Did
got
you?
nowhere to go. There was no other option but to pass, right? This is your life. This is your livelihood. This is your future. This is you pass this, you know, you're setting yourself up for your future family. And it was just so much bigger than myself to endure what I was about to endure and go through what I was about to go through. I mean, it was it was looking ahead because I didn't want to go back to where I came from. Right, I
Did
had
you
nothing
say
left.
you? Did you say? Would you say you had simulated well? Like, did you just fall right into the army and just love the groove of it, or was there a little, you know, like, man, I don't know if this is for me?
No, because we started moving. Once we started moving, there was no thinking, and you're pretty much told what to do, how to do it. You get shown, how to dress. Wear your uniform a certain way. Copy, I got that. Show up a certain time. Copy, I got that. Um, the rude awakening was the fire guard. You know what fire guard is?
Mm-mm.
So customs and courtesies. There's I'm gonna butcher it, but there's someone keeping watch in the middle of the night. I wasn't told this. So it could be a 30-minute shift or an hour shift, and you're just rotating through the middle of the night when you're exhausted. So I was kind of like, I was pissed about that because no one had told me about fucking fire guard and the lack of sleep. But
Well, little did you know what you're gonna get yourself into later, but
yeah, I was just in the moment. I saw Hurricane Katrina passed through South Florida. I saw the Coast Guard rescuing people off rooftops, and I was like, man, I want to do that. How do I become a hero? Like always seeking, I guess, validation. So little whole like been known, like I go to the Coast Guard recruiter, they weren't hiring, they had met the quota to like the next year. So I go Air Force, could never find the Air Force recruiter. I went to the Marines. The Marines told me, oh, we don't use medics, we use the Navy corpsmen. I was like, fuck that, I'm not going to the Navy. I ended up my last choice, the Army. Best choice I ever made.
yeah,
Best choice I ever made. Pretty much landed, uh, gifted. And that's the thing, man. You just gotta show up. Show up, don't quit. That's been a staple. Show up, get through the course, survive. And mind you, I'm not saying I'm a stud or anything. Everything I've always done is just survive.
relentless.
Yeah, persevere.
Yeah.
Persevere in the face of adversity and stay resilient, right? Maintain that resilience and keeping things in perspective. Like I said earlier, man, I I don't have nothing to go back to. I ain't going back there. I'm gonna go forward. So having that always like in the back of my mind, like I want to be something greater than what I am.
Do you think that, do you ever play it back and think about if you would have stayed in for like forever?
Maybe. Yeah, I guess at times I thought about if I would have been a lifer and if I would have done my 20 years, but I was so far away from home. This is where it's conflicting. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have anyone. You know, I miss family. I
Yeah.
miss, I kind of miss what I was used to or accustomed to. And so I had to venture off to appreciate home type of thing. I had to go
Mhm.
out, see the world to be, I guess, valuable or an asset to my family and to be able to provide and protect them with certain skills under under my like possession, I guess.
During your armor time, did you ever like fail a course or were not successful in a venture that you wanted to do?
Was that ever not successful?
Because
I didn't pass a test in the UA 60
okay,
class, and so I had to
mhm.
like hunker down and study type of thing.
Did you pass it eventually?
I did,
Yeah,
yeah, but that's because I didn't know how to study. I've
yeah,
always paid attention in class. I've always done my homework in class. It's not like I had to study to know things. I could always like assimilate. Like I'm a very like tactile learner, so I learn by doing, actually doing things and gaining experience. You could show me on the board all day if you want. I could listen to audio tapes all day if you want, but until I apply what the instructions I'm receiving, I don't actually learn it type of thing. I have to do in order for me to know.
I think that's the best way to learn. Um, when, let's say, when we were finishing up army time, what was that transition like? Like maybe even further back, like coming back from deployments. Like,
Coming back from deployment, we were
was
so
that tough for
ecstatic.
you?
Was it tough?
Was it tough to go back from being downrange to go to real life and then real life back downrange? Like,
Okay, adjustment to yes. So coming back home after being overseas, we were elated, ecstatic to get the fuck out of that country, to get out of the desert, to actually come home. The real battle started when we got home.
mm,
How do we control these feelings? How do we control these emotions, all this anger, all this frustration, all this bitterness? You know, how do you tame that? Is there an outlet? And now, so you just been overseas in war, adrenaline through the roof, days on end, and now you're told to like relax.
mhm,
How the fuck do you bottle that up? And now you're in four walls, a roof, and a bunk, and
mm,
you're just there with your thoughts. You're there, and it's just festering. And the only medicine back then was like movement. So I
yeah.
sought therapy and exercising and staying active and staying busy and not thinking about why I was so fucked up.
Mhm.
And then adjusting to civilian life, man, the chow hall, there's three cereals. I mean, pick one if you want. There's grits, there's eggs,
Yeah.
right? There's a chow line, put stuff in your plate, you get fed, real simple. You come back home to a grocery store, you have 102 cereals to choose and pick from, and it was like which detergent to wash your clothes, and it's just all this. It's too much stimulus for me at the time. For me, it was a little bit overwhelming. So I went back in.
Yeah.
I went back in the National Guard route.
Was there ever a time, and was there ever a time where you felt like what you were doing over there, that you felt that people back stateside weren't, you know, they didn't know or they weren't really appreciative? You ever feel like I was over there busting my ass and doing protecting this country and I come home and people don't give a shit?
That realization happened to me when I came home on leave. So I was
Mm,
over there for 10 straight months, and finally I had the opportunity. I was afforded the opportunity to come back home for leave for 2 weeks and then go back. So when I come back home for leave, I'm just looking at everything that's going on back here. People clubbing, I'm speaking about me. I'm speaking my
Yeah.
perspective. People are living their daily lives, going about their business, dealing with the stressors of everyday life, traffic, fuel, work, stress, whatnot. But then balling, balling on the weekends and enjoying living life and shit, man, I
Yeah.
want to do this too. Right?
Right.
I'm missing out.
Mm.
Uh, was I bitter? A little bit, maybe. Yeah.
Mm.
Like, fuck, you guys have no clue. You guys are so oblivious, like what's actually going on in this world.
Yeah.
You never even left the city. I know that sounds harsh, but you never even left your fucking neighborhood, and people would step up to me and tell me X, Y, Z, and sometimes I just let it slide. Sometimes I didn't let it slide because no, you're wrong. That's not correct.
Yeah. I can see, and like I said, not military, but feeling like what you're doing, no one really has a true value of that. Like coming back and being like people are listening to freaking MTV and ride, they're doing their own lives. Like people are having their life experience and you're having this other experience that they will never understand.
And rightfully so, right? They didn't
Mm.
choose that path. I chose it. I I felt a need. I had a void in my life that I felt would be fulfilled by serving a higher purpose and, serving this great country of ours and, earning your keep, earning your earning a right to have a voice or whatnot. But the only guys that knew that were the ones I was serving with, right? Uh, the dudes to my left and my right.
Mhm.
We were there for each other. It turned into, you know, we got us.
Mhm.
I got you. Um, so that's where that whole like I got you thing comes from. It's like, yo, I got you. We're good.
Mm.
And that holds weight when you say that. It's not just 3 words. You thrown up into the air or whatnot. When that shit means something when someone says I got you. So
Mm. Do you think the I want to say this word, but I don't. Maybe it's not true. But like you were calloused, like you,
hardened somehow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
somehow
mean,
made into alchemy of some sort. Like you were made into some other person through the military. Do you find that that has hurt some relationships, like personally? Like, do you think that being institutionalized by the army, I'll use that word as
yeah,
well, that had,
indoctrinated.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that has altered the way you communicate and live post army?
Yes.
Mm.
So I don't view, for example, you may view something that's significant. I may not view it the same. And so I don't react to it because there's no need for a reaction, but you react to it because it's significant to you. And so there's a clash there.
Hmm.
There's a discrepancy in what you hold to be valuable and what I hold to be not valuable. So I mean, yeah, that has hurt my relationships. But my relationships is due to my like childhood,
Mm.
you know. It wasn't, it was just amplified after my service. And so, yeah, hardened. Yeah, I mean, some things aren't that serious. You know, I the way I act, right? I try to be a good dude. I try to live righteously. I try not to do anyone harm. I try to live my life in a manner that you can be like, okay, that is a good man. And if some things don't align with being righteous and being good, then I don't do those things. That's not to say I've been perfect. I mean, I'm flawed. I'm human. I've done wrong in the past, and so I've tried to correct those wrongs, and I try to live my life correct now. Um, but I've made some mistakes. I've learned from them. Carried on.
Yeah, I feel like some like I have that same type of, I don't have time for bullshit as well, but not everyone's like that. Like what strategies have you put in place to show empathy or like show emotion? Because look, sometimes there's no time for that. When you're overseas, there's no time to ask what the fuck's going on. Like you just do it. Like have you I mean, like that's had to be a skill that you've had to develop.
Hmm.
Like
And
feelings,
life,
having feelings. There's no time for feelings
yeah,
when you're doing your job.
yeah. So life teaches you what you need to be taught, right? And I'm saying this, and I'm using this as an example. When I was overseas, I would see the married guys, the guys that had wives back at home and girlfriends back at home, have relationship issues and marital problems or whatnot. And I was so like adamant. I don't want, yo, we ain't got time for this shit. We got a mission at hand and we have to complete the task. And if you're a liability, you need to sit this one out. And I was a medic. I was lower enlisted, but I was older than some of these guys. And so when I would speak, I didn't speak much, but when I would speak, I was like, yo, this is what we need to do. And ultimately, it was a lieutenant's call, the platoon sergeant's call, but what I had to say holds weight. So some of these guys would be left behind. Now we're short. Now we're running
Mhm.
short, right? And so, fuck, man. You got to pick up the slack. And so that's why I say the best teams are like gears, right? What I lack, hopefully that's your strength, and my strength is what you lack, and so we complement each other that way. Um, if I apply that same mentality to like relationships,
Yeah.
it was only years later, right, that I look back at how I was when I was younger, and I was so like black and white, right? I was like, man, I was an asshole. But at the time, and at that moment in time, I had to be one, and that's the only answer that I knew, and that's the technique or the method that I had available to myself. So that's what I utilized. It wasn't until years later, like, man, damn, I probably could have been like more empathetic,
Mm.
but that wasn't the setting for it. But in life now, you have to be empathetic because I've been hurt. I've, my knees have been shot, not shot, but I have condylomation on both knees, so that's wear and tear of the knee joint. I have no cartilage in my knees. Back is shot, my hips misaligned, and so when life, you know, hindered me, I needed people to assist to assist me. I needed
Yeah.
help, right? Because I wasn't 100%. I was debilitated, and so it was only then that I was truly humbled by life. Like, you cannot continue going down this path. You cannot continue going down being the way you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, it was actually love that got me through that time period.
It's sometimes hard to accept that love, especially when you're, you know, wired a little bit different. Like when people are trying to love you, sometimes you find that as sometimes like a threat or like, what the fuck? Like you don't know
Yeah,
how to accept good people in
right.
your life sometimes.
Or
And
a
yeah, I've
reason
done
to act
that.
out,
Yeah,
or
exactly. You're like,
self sabotage, or
exactly.
I'm not worthy of this.
Hmm.
I'm gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Watch
gonna fuck it up
watch this.
before they hurt me, I'm gonna hurt them.
Yeah,
I've
yeah, and
been through that, brother.
that's not the answer, man.
Yeah.
And I'm being really vulnerable right now, right? Confessing all this.
Yeah.
But because of that trajectory and because of those past experiences has led me to like where I'm at in life right now,
Mm,
where I am humble. I come with you with all humility.
mm,
I am grateful for everything that I have. I still strive to be the best I can at everything that I do. And so, I still have that drive.
mm.
Just because I've done XYZ doesn't mean shit. What else can we accomplish? What else can we do in this life? And so that's where I'm at. Hell of a
So,
ride these past 40 years. I'm gonna see what I can accomplish these next 40 years.
yeah. Well, we're making it to 100, bub. I think we can make it to 100. Um, so a lot of the parallels that I think you enjoyed in the military, you found in the fire service as well. Does that, how do the two compare? Obviously, there are different fields completely, and there's a lot of differences, but there's also very similarities. Do you feel that same brotherhood? Do you feel that same I got you attitude that you talked about earlier? Do you feel that? Does that make you feel comfortable in the fire service? Like, did you feel like, ah, I can do this?
Like I belong.
Yeah, or like,
Like I found my
this
people,
feels
found my
similar.
tribe. Yeah, it does
Mm,
feel similar in the aspect that the 1% will find each other type of thing, right? Iron sharpens iron, right? It's not paramilitary, even though there is a hierarchy, there is a structure, but that's with any business.
Hmm.
You have your CEOs, you have your supervisors, your managers, you have your soldiers, your pawns, just like it's like with anything else. There is a hierarchy. The only one of the differences is in the army and then in the fire service is like you're fighting the nation's war. So
Yeah.
you're going away for periods on end in a hostile environment, right? You have weapons with you. You're armed with weapons. I mean, if you could perceive that as tools, right? Your hose line is a tool, your hatchet is a tool. You have tools of war. There's those parallels, but two different, complete different worlds.
Mm.
But the guys is what makes the job. Just like in the
Hmm.
fire service, the guys are what make the house. You got a good crew, yeah, it's gonna be a good time. You know, I always said that the firehouse makes the job on the fire service side. I could care less about the territories and the calls we run because, I mean, to keep it in perspective, if you actually dwell on the calls that you run, you'll be miserable.
Hmm.
So let's just not even go down that rabbit hole. Let's just answer the call when we're called upon, do it to the best of our ability, get the job done, and then just go back to the house and then just go home the next day.
Hmm.
That's it. I just try to keep it as simple as possible because I really don't want to involve myself in complexities and think about XYZ and why are we here. And no, once you stop, do your job, and go back to the firehouse and go back home the next day. That's it.
Some
That's
people call that compartmentalization.
100%.
Do you think that
Yeah,
that you're a avid user of that? Because I am as well.
we have to.
Yeah.
If not, if bro, you'll lose your sanity.
Mm.
You won't be sane because to answer the calls that we call, I just leave it at that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I compartmentalize things. I put them in nice little bows and ribbons and just put them away in drawers, and that's it.
So
Has
most
that
people,
worked for me in the past? Yes. Will it hurt me in the future? Who knows? But I'll deal with it when I get there, type of thing.
which is what people who compartmentalize say,
Yeah.
that's a spade, brother. Um, Most people don't know this, and we've talked of it in some smaller conversations. But you made a film, Reflexes.
Yeah.
Um, Go check it out if you haven't. I I watched it. Um, and in the I'll play spoiler alert a little bit. It kind of shows a character. Here's
Hmm.
where my question lies: a character that's struggling with that, going from the battlefield, being deployed, and then coming back to real life. Was this a was this a personal? Did you identify with that character, or were you just very? Did you know that a lot of people identified with that character?
So I felt compelled to document a story
Mm-hmm.
of a brief moment in my life and where it's just the monotony of every day waking up, taking care of business, running your errands, showing up to work, and then getting hammered at night
Mm-hmm.
to to deal with your self-worth, your lack thereof, and just to numb yourself to be able to sleep at night and then wake up the next day and do it all over again. Uh, Knowing that, having gone through that, I know that I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that's gone through that.
Mm-hmm.
And if just a glimpse of hope that there is another side and there is more to life than just doing that, I'm a testament to that.
Yeah, what got you through that?
Uh, I went back to school.
Mm-hmm.
I started
A mission,
CrossFitting.
a mission.
Yeah.
You needed a mission.
Well, CrossFit,
Yeah.
CrossFitting, uh, became a CrossFitter, became a CrossFit coach, started improving people's lives, and in turn, improving my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was there was this thing called credibility. And if you're not doing it, why the fuck am I listening to you type of thing?
Hmm.
So if you live it, preach it, that's your lifestyle, then you have some credibility there. And um, start
Eric also
CrossFitting.
shows his butt in that film. So if you guys want to see Eric's butt, it's in there. I was like,
Yeah,
"Yo, Megan, close your eyes."
20-minute film, just 24 minutes to encompass every minute for every hour of the day, and then just the monotony of going dealing with life, coming back post-war, and dealing with like your thoughts and dealing with life. And there's more to life than just feeling sorry for yourself.
Mhm. I know, and this is just from friends and experiences that I've heard that story is not like that a lot of people struggle with that, like that whole going back to real life thing. And I just want to say that I don't think that you're ever well I don't know, but the things that I struggle with, I'm never going to master. I'm never going to fully evolve to not let my past affect me. Do you feel like you still struggle with that kind of stuff, or do you think that you've kind of made a good like progress on it? Or
So in times of stress, you revert back to your most basic level of training, right?
hmm
At times, I still do that, and where I revert to like being quiet or fleeing or just literally picking my shit up and running away because I'm in a dangerous situation or I'm in a dangerous location. Therefore, get out of danger. You get up and run. Um, but you can't do that with everything in life. So, you know, those of you, those of you that know I have a daughter, and I can't do that with a child, right? So I have to stay in place. So this is where my degree in higher education came in, and where managing conflict, dealing with conflict, culture communication, gender communication, because the same way you speak to an adult or a soldier, you can't speak to a child. So
you can or cannot?
cannot.
Okay.
You cannot speak to a child that way. Like, no, I wouldn't talk to people the way I talk to myself. Like the
Mm.
way I talk to myself, I wouldn't say that out loud to another person, right? So, um, how do you communicate? How do you put your thoughts into words to convey a message or express yourself to someone like a child? So that's
No, you're
how I
doing it.
would like to be known for when I speak. Like, damn, he speaks. What an articulate young man. Like, man, he has a way with words. Bro, have you ever listened to Eric speak? Like, so I hear Dave Chappelle speak, and I hear these comedians and some of these, like, man, they're fucking good. Like,
Mm.
even some of these motivational speakers, um, Les Brown, um, Eric Thomas, even some of these podcasters. It's admirable the way they speak. I
Mm.
want to do that, and why can't I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, because you haven't put yourself in that situation? Sure, okay. Put yourself in that situation, learn from it, get better at it, do it. I used to say I don't speak well. Yeah, bitch, you don't fucking talk. So how the
Yeah.
fuck are you supposed to speak when you don't talk? You don't say anything. Oh, I only talk when I need to talk. So, why waste words or why waste breath?
Mm.
Um,
Well, from a friend standpoint, I've known you we were friends via the internet for a while, and then we got to meet each other in real life, which is really awesome to kind of get to understand you a little bit more. I was able to see you around your significant other and your family and your daughter, and it was like a whole nother person. Like they're the key that needed to unlock that part of you. Like to see that side of you was like made me feel like you're a real guy, you know? Like
yeah,
those are the people in your life that that you need to unlock that kind of softens that ice box that you got in between your ribs.
yeah,
But
man. Family's
those
everything, bro.
people, it was awesome to see because even Megan, my wife, was like, he was completely like he was different around his family, which was like I was like, yeah, he's a real guy. He has real emotions. Like people from the outside think, see that what you do and what you have accomplished, and I got to see that very, special part, and it was cool to see, man, that you have the capacity. So all of these things that that you're talking about, you're, trying to do, you have the capacity to do it. Like you can, accept love and accept, the things that are good in your life, and you can do that. That was awesome to see as your friend that you can do that. It's hard, it's difficult,
I'm trying,
especially
bro.
with everything that happens. But we are worthy of good things and love, and people that it's okay to get loved by other people. Sounds kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to get better at those things.
Well, I think it's going to be a constant struggle
Yeah, well,
every day.
I'll never be as good enough as I think I am, right? I'll never attain this vision of, right, who I want to be, or I'll never get there,
Mm.
right? So I struggle. Now I strive to be that person that I envision myself being. Just like, just like training gear. I would never get to where I feel, okay, I'm good enough. Never. I'll never get there.
Mhm. Here's my next question. Are you ever going to be satisfied with
But not at the moment. I can answer this presently. At the moment, no, I'm not content. I'm not content with,
No, no, there's a difference between being content and being satisfied. Look at your work that you've accomplished. Like look at the
yeah,
things that are on the thing. Are you
yeah.
satisfied with what you've done so far?
There's still more to do.
Do you
Yeah,
feel like
but you know this, but
I
you know
understand
that.
it. That's why
Yeah.
I'm just trying to dig at this because I have it too. Do you feel like there's ever going to be a point where you are satisfied?
Sure. I would like to get there.
Mm.
I would like to know what that feels like.
Is it possible? Is the question.
Because this is the thing, when you relax or you get complacent or you get too comfortable, that's when it bites you in the fucking ass.
Mm.
That's when something pops off,
Yeah.
right? The minute you get, I guess, relaxed, that's when something like unexpectedly happens. Man, I should have known better. Why the fuck did I let my guard down? Or you get hurt, or
Do you
an
think that
accident happens.
that mentality will enable make you being able to be unhappy? Like you're never going to be happy until that satisfaction level goes down. Like,
Oh, I'm actually happy right now.
hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Uh,
But you'd have to say that part you've had to give a little bit of your personality to the happy, life experience, and you've had to give a little to achieve some type of, happiness.
yeah, it's all give and take, right?
Mm.
I
More
mean,
give these days. 'Cause I
give,
knew I couldn't be the same person that I am if I wanted to be, with Megan. Like I had to sacrifice parts of
sure,
me. You got to be
to
willing to
gain,
take some of those things off of you
sure,
and relieve, like to take those things off and change your
yeah,
personality to be happy. Those things weren't serving me anymore, so why would I want to do that or do that? So I think it's you have to be able to be willing to get rid of things to truly, see the other side of happiness.
and that's fair, right? That's
Mm.
a fair assessment. To to do something, to gain something you've never had, you had to do something you've never done.
Or or not do something.
Sure,
To get something you
sure,
have to, eliminate
sure,
certain things.
exactly. There's that.
Do you feel like you're always going to be moving the goalpost, like of what
Yeah,
success looks like?
bro. I mean, we have to, my dude. We have
Mm.
to face some type of challenge, some type of fucking goal, or if not, uh, this is the thing, you know, uh, and it was in a movie, right? It's regarding without a war, the warrior might as well be dead.
Mm.
So we have
I
to,
do.
man.
I think that's true. Like I think we're built as humans to have something we're chasing.
Yeah,
We go to
that
shit if we're not meant to be striving for something.
there's there's excitement, for lack of a better term. There's life in pursuing that.
Mm.
I've always said, what if there's no fountain of youth? What if the fountain of youth is actually the journey to seek the fountain of youth, but there is no actual fountain of youth location? I mean, that doesn't exist. But the
Mm.
journey to go find it and seek it, that is the fountain of youth itself, the journey.
Journey. Yeah. I feel like sometimes only successful people say that, you know, like only people that have accomplished things were like, yeah, man, it was the process to get there. Right.
Process.
It is. It
I
is
love the
true.
grind.
I hate
It's
to say it, but
humbling.
it's true. Yeah.
So
It's
after
true,
a
man.
tough workout or a gnarly training session, I get to reassess myself and struggling. And in that struggle, I get to know what I'm made of. And the results speak for themselves, right? The time is real. However many rounds I got, that shit's real. The work I put in is real. And that you have to put yourself in the arena to experience that. There is no substitute for that hard work. And then in turn, that makes me act a certain way. So now that I'm more like at ease, or I'm at bay, or you know, the endorphins are kicking in, and so I'm good for the day because I've worked hard. I put in the work. I worked hard, and now I can just reap the benefits of a low heart rate for the rest
You
of the day.
earn it. You make sure you earn it.
Yeah.
You gotta earn it.
Right. So yeah, even though my heart rate spikes 150 plus beats per minute, for the rest of the day, it's at 50 for, this, keep numbers real simple, but I earned it.
What are 3 things right now that you're super grateful for, and why?
My family, first and foremost, my family, my career. Bro, I've sought out this profession for such a long time that now that I'm here, I'm not gonna take advantage of. I'm not gonna take it for granted. I'm gonna take full advantage of everything available to us. I want to do every single thing, every single course, every single opportunity available to us as career firefighters, professional firefighters. And then thirdly, for the interactions like this one, super grateful for you, man. The people in my life, the people behind the scenes, the people that believe in me. Super grateful to be on this journey and knowing that I'm not alone. So moments.
Well, I hope none of the questions were super, inside or too personal, but it was for the listeners or for people that think that Erik. I think that these questions might let you know a little bit more about you. Like that's what we wanted to do. People see all these, we see all these people that we look up to on the internet. We have these internet people, but to know them and to hear their story, and that's really what this podcast is about. But we love hearing your story, man. And like I said, you've been a mentor to me, someone I can go to for, advice, life advice, career advice, man. And, I just want to thank you for being a positive, influence in my life, dude. Like, hell yeah. Like, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for being you. Yeah, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah,
thank you for believing in me. Thank you for being on this journey with me. We're doing this shit together. So
on the rocket ship up to the moon, brother.
So to all the viewers and listeners out there, the Uncivil Mentality Podcast, thank you for joining us. On behalf of myself, Erik Vidal,
and I'm Reilly Kilbride. Get after it. Get in your gear. Start f***ing training. It can never be enough.